Hi guys, it's Uldouz and welcome to the Uldouz Show. Today I have a very special guest. His name is Lee Hammock and he is a diagnosed narcissist, and he also helps people heal from dealing with narcissistic people, and he also educates on how to like spot a narcissist and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for joining me today, Lee. And I'm so excited to talk to you about all of these narcissistic issues that we have in society today. So let's just get into it. What makes a narcissist? How do you become a narcissist to begin with?
So a lot of people, most people would say that you become a narcissist due to some type of, childhood trauma, childhood abandonment issues and things like that, where you just become it because of, extenuating circumstances in your environment. But there's been some more recent research that says there could be, a slightly genetic component to it. But most people would say, trauma in your childhood and trying to work through the things in your childhood that might have hurt you and you repressed and you felt defenseless from and things like that. So narcissism pretty much to me is like a defense mechanism to protect a damaged inner child, inner ego, and things like that.
Oh, got it. Okay, so if you like have a kid that you nurture and you basically give them everything and help them out or whatever the tools are, make them feel safe, it's rarer to become a narcissist then, right?
Yeah, I would say it's very rare, but if you
Yeah.
give them too much and you don't tell them no, and you don't set boundaries in their childhood, then you can still lead to some kind of narcissism, because typically, most narcissists hate hearing the word no.
Mm.
So if you don't get them accustomed to hearing the word no when they're growing up, when they become adults, they're not used to hearing no, so they're going to lash out on people who tell them no. So yeah, you can
Oh,
do that by over pampering kids and young adults and things like that, teenagers.
got it. Wow, that's good to know. So then after you're a narcissist and everything, like how does someone even spot a narcissist? Like how do you know you're dealing with a narcissist, and what are some of the things that you should look out for?
So I think everybody nowadays knows that narcissist is like a buzzword that hurt women call their boyfriend who didn't treat them correctly. But narcissistic personality disorder, what I've been clinically diagnosed with, you know, it's a pattern of behaviors that tends to destroy your interpersonal relationships. So what you see, the people closest to the narcissist get treated the worst because you can hurt them the most, that more about them. But how to spot a narcissist really early on, how like slow down. I always say like speed is the weapon of a narcissist or a toxic person, whatever you want to call them. Going narcissists like to move really, really fast. They like to love bomb you with the things that become who you want them to be, become who you need them to be, and they
Mm-hmm.
get that, and they get the information by listening to you, by from your online profiles, from your dating sites and things like that. Because typically, people on their dating sites are going to list exactly what they're looking for in a significant other. And guess what? I'm a narcissist, so I'm gonna look at that stuff. I'm gonna become just that. If you like Luke Bryan, guess who my favorite artist is? Luke Bryan. If
Yeah.
if you like,
Yeah.
if you like that type of whatever you like, I'm going to like. So slow. That's what I tell people: slow down and learn to say the word no to people. Because if you're a people pleaser and you like to say yes to people, and you don't like hurting people's feelings, you're going to get a lot of narcissists in your life. They're going to take advantage of you. So just tap the brakes. Set some healthy boundaries to protect yourself, because narcissists, toxic people, whatever, don't like boundaries. They just no, they don't. You say no to them, they're going to push against whatever you say no. Whatever you say no to. You want to go home on the first night? No. Why not? I thought we liked each other. I thought we were feeling it. You see how that goes right there?
Yeah.
Oh, a person that respects your boundaries is going to say, okay, I get it. Too fast. Sorry about that. A narcissist, toxic person is going to say, why not? I thought we hit it off. I told you everything that you wanted to. I'm who you want me to be.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
tap the
What
brakes.
about like for instance, like somebody tells you like I love you within like the first couple weeks or something like that, or they try to move in like they're moving in, or you don't even know that they moved in. They just like won't go home.
Yeah, yeah. So again, that comes from learning to say no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That comes from learning to say no. Like can you? So me personally, I know people are going to push back. I don't believe in love at first sight.
Yeah.
Because I think love is is a verb, is actions involved in that and whatnot. So
Mhm.
yeah, a narcissist might be showing you that they love you through their actions early on. But I say find a reason to say no. Just put it back. I said no. Can I live with you one weekend? No. Why not? I'm homeless. No,
Yeah.
cool. You were homeless before you met me. You were homeless before you met me. You can be homeless now. But like I said, that's invading your, like, if they move in really really quickly without you knowing, kind of like, bring their stuff and don't leave.
Yeah.
That's violating a boundary right there.
Yeah.
You didn't say no to them. You was like, hey, you need to go home after you've been here 2 weeks straight. You haven't went home. Oh, I thought we were hitting it off. I thought we had this going on. And what's going on here? You don't love me? I thought you loved me. They'll
Yeah.
force love on you. They'll force you to love them by not leaving you alone.
Yeah, and from what I noticed with like narcissists, they like go from one relationship to the next. So it's very likely that they don't even have a place to stay. So maybe they're just like live with this other person and then they move right into your place,
Mhm.
and then they're just going from like place to place, not really having a actual place to live.
Yeah, it really depends on that narcissist, I guess, their socioeconomic status. Like some narcissists are, there's a bunch of rich, powerful narcissists that don't need a place to stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the I guess the bum variety of narcissists need a place to stay. So yeah, they'll fall in love with you really really quick, or they'll give you everything that you want and need, and just kind of force it on you. They'll make you feel like if you leave them alone that you're missing out on something. Like, hey, you're gonna miss out on me. There's nobody else like me out here that's gonna treat you this way. So if you don't kind of move as fast as I want you to move, you're going to lose me. And that creates, if you're dealing with a narcissist that a lot of times you care about this person because even though it's really fast, those emotions are kind of, the emotions are moving fast too. So you care about this person really, really fast. And that's exactly what that narcissist wants. They want you to care about them really, really fast because they know if they showed you who they really are, you might not love them. So they need to get you to fall in love with them really fast in order to get what they want from you. Whether moving in, money, whatever they're trying to get from you, they need to get it quickly before they reveal themselves to who they really are. Yeah.
And like, what's the usual timeline of like a narcissist revealing themselves?
It really just depends. Some people can hold it up for months, weeks at a time, and whatnot. That's why I say, to speed up said timeline, find a way to say no. Like I know I keep repeating it, but like I truly believe that you will learn more from saying no to someone than you will by saying yes to everything. You can say yes, 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 yes. In that one no, they react negatively to you. They hate that no. Why'd you say no to me? They might not be used to you saying no. So you can speed up, you can accelerate that timeline if you say no to that person somehow, some way, shape, or form. So saying no helps.
Yeah. So one of the things, or some of the things to look out for, is one, love bombing. Like they say they love you and they do all these things that are amazing for you, like right up front, like tattoo your name on their chest and stuff like that.
I know people think that's cute. Oh, they got my name on their chest. It's real. No, that's not real. That's ownership. That's them like branding themselves with you. That's them thinking they own you now. A tattoo from a toxic person means that they own you. You belong to them. If I got your name on my chest, you're mine. Because this is it's permanent. Even if I get it covered up, it's still there. So it's permanent.
Yeah.
Even if we break up, it's still there. So you're still mine technically. So yeah, that whole ownership, and what I mean, if it doesn't feel right, it's typically not right. Trust your intuition. That's why a lot of people kind of ignore the red flags. They're like, this doesn't feel right, but I'm gonna go with it. But I'm gonna go with it because it's exciting. And then 5 years later, you're like, dang, what happened? It kind of blows your mind as to what happened. It's like a 5-year whirlwind. You didn't really know that person. So,
and then what's so interesting? Sorry, like what's so interesting for me is that, like, you know, you've been told like, oh, you know, if you want to be in a relationship, you have to just trust the other person. You have to trust that, you know, this is the person that they are, or how else is the relationship going to work, right? But the whole issue with like, when, like, for instance, if you're like a woman or whatever you are, right, you have to be very careful, because the all of these signs are like warning signs, right? But then you want to believe, because the other side, oh, you have to trust, and you know, how else are you going to have a relationship if you never trust, right? But like, it's like so many situations now where you're just like, oh my god, this person is like doing this or they're doing that, and then you're like, oh, you got to trust, you got to trust, how else are you going to have a relationship? But
So
then you end up like dealing with this stuff, and then when you deal with a narcissist, I'm pretty sure like anyone that has ever dealt with it, like, they come off as amazing, like, wow, finally I found the love of my life, they're exactly what I wanted, they're my soulmate, they're this, they're that, because they match everything that you actually like or want, right? So you're just like, wow, like, they're like, this is the person for me, God sent this person to me, because, you know, this is what love is supposed to be, you're like equals and you love the same stuff and it's just meant to be, right? But they're just basically just like, it's all bullshit, and they're just like pretending to be something the whole time. And you think like, wow, this is amazing, because like everything is working so smoothly.
yeah.
But it's not, like, you know.
So that's what, like, so when you said trust, there's a difference between trust and blind trust.
Yeah.
Trust means you trust in the person to be, you know, to be authentic, to be genuine.
Yeah.
But if you know, blind trust is just like ignoring the red flags. Like, you said you were married and y'all still living together. That's ignoring, you know, that you can trust that person is still living together but sleeping downstairs or sleeping in a separate bed. But that seems like you're kind of doing this, like, so y'all live together, but you're still married, but you're living together but in separate beds. That's blind trust. That means you have to blindly believe that person, you know.
Exactly.
And what you say about God sent me this person. In the Bible, it seemed like the devil was sending people too. The devil was sending things too. You know, the serpent in the Garden of Eden. You know, the devil was sending some things as well. So God could have sent it to you. You know, for God is going to, you know, God is God going to test people? Yes, he's going to test you. But I feel like also God gave you free will and intuition to trust that, you know, to make your own decisions. Like, if God sends somebody into your life, that doesn't mean that person has to stay there. You know, because a lot of people will say that, like, God sent me this person, we pray together, we, you know, he or they are a believer, but doesn't mean that person is for you, because people could use religion to manipulate you very, very easily.
Yes.
I prayed for you at night, you know, but the whole time cheating, the whole time cheating. I was like, I called you last night and you didn't. Yeah, I called you last night, but you didn't pick up. Like, I was praying, but the whole time they were cheating. You know. Yeah. It's just the mindset. I just like, you know, don't blindly trust people. If you don't feel right, ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because if you feel like you can't ask questions in the beginning of the relationship, you won't be able to ask questions in the middle or the end. So you have to feel comfortable with that person. Ask questions, get real answers. You know?
And you might as well kind of eliminate all of those kind of troubles or questions or question marks from the beginning, than waiting like a year or two and then figuring out, oh wow, like this guy was all lies, you know, or this girl was all lies. So like, I think it's just interesting, like how the lies, they're just kind of not just going like with one person, but like they all usually go all around. Like they're just lying about everything. Like everything is just a bunch of lies, like whether it's the workplace, because they're lying to the people at work about like certain things, then they're lying about other things to people they care about, and then lying about other things to the family members. And it just turns into like everything is like a full-on lie, you know.
but you know that most narcissists and toxic people just lie just to be lying. You mean lying is the way of life. They tell so many lies that the truth is in there somewhere, but it's like covered up in lies. It's like, you know, like a jolly, a lollipop, you know, with the chocolate center. You got to lick around the lollipop to get to the chocolate, the bubble gum in the middle.
Yeah.
That bubble, the bubble gum is the truth. So you got to lick around a whole bunch of lies to get to the truth with with a narcissist or a toxic person, whatever. Because they're narcissistic people will lie when the truth will work, because lying to a narcissist is power and control. They want to control all the situations. So if I'm just sitting right here lying to you for 30 minutes, I go home and lie to my wife for 30 minutes, and y'all somehow team up together, y'all get in contact with each other. Y'all you gotta spend a lot of time deciphering lies. Well, hey, he told me this. He told me this. And then so y'all sit right there trying to figure out what the truth is, or who's lying. Am I lying, or do you lying? Lying is power and control. So just like if they lie again, if they lie early, they will lie in the middle. They will lie late. So if you catch them in a lie early on the relationship, just leave them alone. Just leave them alone. If they lie early, this time, if you forgive them for lying and cheating early in the relationship, you're setting the kind of standard for the relationship. Like, oh, I can get away with this. Cool.
Yeah. And like, why do you think a narcissist do this? Like, what do they really get out of it? Is it control, or is it like, what do they really get out of all this?
So I feel like the main goal for most narcissists, including myself, is like literally control. You want to control every aspect of your life, because I feel like growing up, you couldn't control a lot. There's a lot of things outside of your control. You wish you can go back in your life, in your early childhood, and control those things, but you can't. Because I'm in therapy talking to my therapist about this. She's like, you want to control too much, and it's going to drive you crazy. So you have to let go of the things that you cannot control. So most narcissists are trying to control everything, but by controlling everything, they're seeking to get like validation from the outside world. Because like even me myself, even in the years of therapy that I've had for myself, it's still hard for me to to practice self-love and to validate myself. So so like myself, like most narcissists seek out external validation from the world. They just do. That's why they always try to be in multiple relationships, because nothing will ever, no one person is enough for a narcissist. That's just the way it is. One person doesn't work. They need more people to fulfill that that unquenchable thirst for validation. So they're seeing, you can literally do everything for a narcissistic person. You can like everything that person asks you to do, you do it, and they still got to cheat on you, try or break up with your, find somebody else. Like, what did I do wrong? Like nothing. You were perfect, and but this person is perfecter. They find somebody else that's going. The grass might not be greener. It's just different grass. They just, maybe this person will make me feel better. Maybe this person will help me not feel as empty as I always feel. It has nothing to do with the person that you're with. It's just really the lack of internal validation that we're always, just going to feel empty, regardless of what other people do for us or what other people say about us.
But like, why does it feel empty? Is it to fill that void from like your childhood experience, or what? Why, like, where is it coming from?
Yeah, just me personally, just kind of growing up. You just, you feel like you were never enough. Like nothing you did was ever going to be enough to satisfy the people that you wanted to satisfy. If you have an absent mom or dad or whatever, you want that person to be in your life. So you try to do good in sports and school and stuff like that. Hey, maybe if I, make the 8 honor roll, my dad will come around. Nope. Maybe I'll make the football team, my dad will come around. Nope. So I just feel like no matter what you do, the love no matter what you do and what you try, the love that you don't get you don't get the love from the person that you want it from the most. And that builds this feeling, this feeling of inadequacy. Like even now today, I see no matter what I do, no matter how many people I help, no matter how many people I talk to, I still feel inadequate, but I understand why. So that kind of helps me deal with that on a personal level, a more personal, introspective level. I understand why I do this. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, hey, you helped 1,000 people this month. Cool. We should have helped 1,001. That one person you didn't help went back to the toxic relationship, and now you failed. You're a failure. The 1,000 don't count. The one matters. That one failure hurts the most. Yeah.
But that's so interesting, because if you look at like artists and celebrities and like people in the public eye, there's so many people that like want to kind of get into entertainment or whatever because they're like, they've been hurt in childhood or something like that, and they're seeking that validation, right? But some of them are narcissists, some other ones aren't narcissists. They're just looking for that love in other places, like you said. So, like, what's the difference between someone that, just looking for like a way to find self-love or like kind of find themselves in that pattern, and like what's the difference between the narcissist? Is it that they cheat and they can't hold relationships and stuff like that? Or
I feel like in those situations the difference is intent. You know, like in intent and the pathway. Like the person who's just trying to get validation, trying to be, rich and famous and trying to get in the public eye, they are doing that while there's no malintent. They're not trying to pull other people down to lift themselves up. They're just doing it the authentic way. They're doing it in a genuine way. There's like, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to do it the right way. So they do it the right way. They audition, they do stuff like that. Well, narcissistic people, they are trying to replace you. They're not trying to work beside you. They're trying to actively replace you and take over and ruin you. That's where, the difference between, I guess, narcissists is they destroy their interpersonal relationships. That's why you get a lot of narcissists. They might be rich and famous, but then they don't have a close set of friends. Like, you don't have any friends. I'm your husband, I'm your wife, but you don't really have any friends because they destroy their interpersonal relationships because it's hard to be around them. You get a lot. You get a lot of people to destroy people on their pathway to success. Like, hey, I used to be friends with Lee. He just ran over top of me and took my place. As opposed to somebody else that's on a similar path. They just work together. Hey, how can we work together? The narcissist is ask you, how can I get above you? How can I use you in this situation to catapult myself while simultaneously leaving you behind? So yeah, I feel like the intent behind those people is what really matters. Like, you can want to be rich and successful and to get to that point, and you can want to be rich and successful to pull other people down just because you think you're better than everybody else.
Wow, like that's so like eye-opening for me, because like I was one of the victims of the iCloud hack leak, and this hacker, he like hacked me and like ruined my whole life, like made me look like something that I was not, and all that kind of stuff. I was just in a relationship doing what you're supposed to do in relationships, but the guy that I was with, he took pictures and a video of me without my consent, and then he like threatened to leak it, but he didn't leak it, and then the hacker got to it, right? So like this went all over the media and everything, but the hardest part was like, obviously, like everybody's seeing that, but all of the people that I knew in social media and were friends with, that I used to collab with and all of this other stuff, they like literally turned on me, and then they said that I leaked this to like become famous or whatever, and then they used that as a pedestal to like kind of put me down, and then they could just like move me out of the way kind of thing,
Yeah.
which was so weird, because I was just kind of like, what the that was just so strange to me, because I was always like, okay, let's work together, everybody can win kind of thing, but everybody like they don't think like that, so but that's like interesting, because I didn't even think of it like that. Like I was just kind of wondering like how that works when it comes to like different types of people in the public eye, because in my head, like because I'm in the public eye, I'm like, oh my god, like what am I trying to find the validation for, or is there validation? What am I seeking here? But then I remember, like, from the beginning, the goal wasn't like social media, the goal wasn't like to become an A-list movie star. Like all of those things were just so I could do something else, like in the end, and which was for the greater good, like, and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's just weird to me, because like some of these people, they just seek the validation as like, I want to be rich and famous, and that's it. Like, and I talk to so many influencers and people, and they're just like, always the end goal is just bigger, like bigger on social media, more followers, more, and then but there's nothing like else that's like good kind of, that's helping other people. But I love what you're doing, because it's like, even though you might have done things that impacted people in a negative kind of manner, What?
Yeah. So I've done some unsavory things. Yes.
Yeah, so you've done that, but like you own it and you taking responsibility for it, and now you're
Mhm.
trying to help other people. So there's a like a way of like, when it got to you, like you
Mm.
process that and you're trying to do something for the greater good, even though like, oh wow, I like really messed
Yeah.
up. Like I think that's the hardest part, because even when um I think anyone trying to be in a relationship, whether they're narcissistic or they're not, I honestly think relationships aren't really going to work unless both people work on themselves. Like, whether it's like through books or therapy or whatever, they have to like really look at inside themselves and understand everything, and like try to just understand more and more about yourself so that you can like work
Mm.
with someone else in a relationship, and like they're both kind of healed.
Yes. But even what you just said in the
Yeah.
beginning when you started, you just said like there's enough to go around. That just
Yeah.
you just made it seem like there's a plate big enough for everybody. There's enough helpings to serve everybody.
Yeah.
Narcissists don't think that way. I want to eat, so I eat first. If there's something left, then you can eat too. There's like
Mhm.
that's how it goes right there. Like you are looking at the greater good and just saying like there's enough to go around. Everybody come eat. The narcissist is like, let me eat first, and then like if you starve, you should have came. You should have worked harder. You should have been me. And that happens. And that happens a lot in situations like that. You can kind of tell that with people like say, in groups, or you collaborating with people and things like that, and they turn and it seems like they're waiting to turn on you. Like you leaked this to get more popular than us, so we're gonna cut you off, and we're gonna
Yeah.
use you as a stepping stone to get more successful or whatever. That's a different type of person right there. It just is. Instead of people being in your corner, man,
Yeah.
your downfall, not your downfall. When stuff comes out about you, that will reveal your real friends and people who are just kind of just placeholders for your real
Yeah.
friends. So
But as
that's
far
like
as
what
like
happens in life.
dealing with like narcissistic people in the workplace and stuff like that, that's such an interesting topic, because like you hear about the relationships and maybe even a mother and father
Mhm.
kind of situation, but what about work relationships? How do you deal with a narcissistic person when you work with this person, or like somehow now they're like out to get you in a whatever weird way, or I don't know, I don't even know if it's called like out to get you, but they want to like get you out of the
Yeah,
way,
they,
so that
they black
they
they
don't
can
see you as a
blacklist you.
threat. What?
Mhm. They can blacklist you and things like that. They can definitely do that. Like in the workplace, yeah, it's a little different dealing with a narcissist, especially if it's your supervisor or your boss or something like your director, somebody like that. I say you always documentation helps. Documenting, I don't know what state people, some states you can record conversations in to protect yourself. You can keep documentation of what is said between the people,
Yeah.
so people can actually know the truth,
Yeah.
because the truth matters, and most times the truth will set you free. So a lot of people, you kind of like, there's some famous court cases going on right now, whatever. There's recordings coming out where, that
Yeah.
person didn't know they were getting recorded and was being authentic and honest. So you see how they can help
Yeah.
you in the long run by, by documenting things like that. Like this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Record, write
Hmm.
stuff down, things like that. That's how you protect yourself in situations like that, because you can't fire them. If this is your boss, you can't fire your boss. How?
No.
You know,
And
so
like so you get the documentation, but other than that, what else can you do? Like let's say they try to get you blacklisted, or they're manipulating people against you, or whatever the whole systematic thing is, that a lot of narcissistic people do. Like they would
mhm.
try to get everybody to turn against you, or all of those kind of factors. What do you do when it's work, like you know
Work, like I said, the work relationship is going to be a lot different, because like the power dynamic is not going to be the exact same, because if you work for somebody, they're going to be, typically they're going to be a higher level than you in it, whatever,
Mhm.
movies, acting, whatever. It could be just a warehouse. They're going to be a higher level than you. So yeah, they can probably get you fired and things like that. But like the best thing is usually like this is what I always say: regardless your reactions or your power, because typically they're going to try to trigger a reaction out of you to make
Mhm.
it seem like their actions are justified. You know, that's why I fired her, because she went crazy. Y'all see how crazy she is. You know, I didn't do anything to her. Y'all see, this is why she got fired, because she can't control her temper. She's the crazy one, and it makes you look crazy. So so documenting things, controlling how you react to people. You know, because a lot of people are going to want to fight back. You try to fight fire with fire, it just creates a bigger blaze. You know, so it's like controlling your reactions, how you respond to situations. It can save you. It really, really can. Because people's like, well, if that was true, no, she would be acting this way, as opposed to these different situations right there. So I just feel like regardless of the relationship, work, intimate, brother, sister, mom, dad, your reactions are going to be your power, because a lot of narcissists want to trigger you to make you feel like they're affecting you. If they can't trigger you, they can't control you. But if they can trigger you, they can control you. So if they're spreading rumors and stuff like that, and you try to fight fire with fire, you start spreading rumors, who wins in this situation?
Nobody. I mean, there's a no-win situation in the first place, because I guess if they do enough, they like ultimately kind of make it look like certain things, but then the truth will always come out. So it's like, it'll probably take longer, depending on the situation and stuff. But it's like, what is the point of that?
And that's the frustrating part right there, because you just said it's like it might take longer for it to come out. A lot of people will get frustrated. It's like, I'm ready for the truth is right here. Y'all just need to see it. You want to force it out. So again, controlling your reactions and how you react, your temperament matters in these situations. Because if you explode, no matter what that person did to you, you look like the aggressor. Why are you yelling and screaming like that? Nobody said anything to you. You're like, right, so you look like the bad person, which is what narcissists want, which is what narcissistic people want to happen. They're like, y'all say I didn't say anything to her. She just went crazy. Boom.
And then they got that satisfaction or gratification, like, oh, I got my way, kind of thing.
They feel good on the inside. They might smirk on the outside. They definitely feel good on the inside, but they might slide a little smirk.
They're like, so that's the other funny thing that, like, in my scenario happened to me. Like, I did a collab with like Kevin Hart and all these big name people, whatever, right? And in the comments, these people will go and they will talk shit about me in the comments. Like, why are you working with her? You shouldn't be working with her. She's not a good look. She did this. She did that. And then they're throwing a whole smear campaign in the comments. And it like took everything in me. But I was like, they want a reaction. Don't give them a reaction. Just let it be. Right. So this whole time, 8 years, I didn't say anything. And then now, like, they like, okay, she died off. She they left me alone, because they're like, we got rid of her or whatever, So like 8 years now later, I'm finally telling my true story or whatever. And even now, I'm not even saying their names, nothing. Like, I'm not even going to go there. But the crazy part is, like, I think what they ended up getting away with is that they wore me down, like they did so much consistently nonstop that it eventually took a toll on me, So it's like, I think if they don't get that reaction, they're just going to keep going till they like wear you out. And like, you get to that point where you're just like, oh, I'm so exhausted and drained now that it's like, you don't even want to deal with this. You don't want to do anything anymore, because you're just like fighting like against so many situations here, like especially like if you're in a public eye. Think about like in my scenario, like I had the hacking, so I have like random like followers and people just talking smack, and not even knowing the whole scenario. Some of them knew, but they're gonna make their own assumptions or whatever, right? Then you have like these people, and they're just going and going and going, and they just keep dragging it out, reposting the videos and rewinding it, retweeting it, just sharing it more. And it's just like, wow, like, why go out of your way? Like, I'm already down. Why are you kicking me even more? Like, it's crazy. So
because what you just said, you used the perfect word to describe it, though. You said exhaustion. Because that's what most narcissist, toxic people want to do, is exhaust you to where you just feel like you're defeated. You just give up. And like, even when you give up, they kick you while you're down. You're like, okay, guys, here's the white towel. I'm throwing in the towel. And they're like, okay, here, we're going to take the towel and wrap it around your head and choke you with a little bit more. You know what I mean? Make sure she's dead. They want to exhaust you into giving up. And, work related, relationship related, they want to exhaust you into giving up. That's why sometimes even when, in a relationship, or even when they break up with you or you break up with them, they won't leave you alone. They become obsessive, they become stalkerish, and they'll just try to exhaust you into giving up to where you feel, to the point where you feel like it's easier to just give in to them. It's easier. My life is easier if I give in to them, as opposed to just letting them hammer away at me for a long extended period of time. So it seemed like that would happen to you. Just like they just try to exhaust you and just hammer away at you. It's not a good look to work with her. Blah 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 blah. Boo, 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 boo. But you can, like I said, controlling your reactions. If you don't get in the reaction that they want, they're like, oh, she responded to me and she's angry. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
A hit dog holler. Hit dogs holler. There's they say.
But that scenario was so funny because I don't even know if like Kevin Hart knew about all this stuff, but in that specific situation, I mean, all of them, I didn't say anything, but the funny part was he ended up deleting all of their videos and then kept mine up. So I was just like, oh, well, that's funny because my video went viral on that page. So I was just like, okay, cool. But I don't know if it had something to do with that, or if he noticed it, or I don't even know what happened. But I just thought it was interesting because I'm like, oh, he kept it up and they had all these smear campaigns things in the comments, But so basically they try to exhaust you. They try to get a reaction from you. And what is the trick? Is to not get exhausted and not how do you not get exhausted after dealing with someone that's trying to traumatize you consistently,
Yeah, because the way you don't get exhausted, if you might be exhausted, but you don't want to show them exhaustion. You know what I mean? You might be like I say, I'm pretty sure you get tired. You're on Kevin Hart's page, you're gonna get a lot of stuff on there. It gets don't feed the fire. Don't go into the don't, if it's getting hot, just you don't have to look at that type of stuff. If they're calling you incessantly, if they're blowing your phone up, if they're just doing stuff to you, just typically, if you can't get restraint, or you just ignore it, because it exhausts. If they can't exhaust you, eventually, it might take a while, they become exhausted themselves. Eventually it ain't working. Let me leave this month. Let me leave it alone. Y'all.
Yeah.
to the next exposure. They go somewhere else. It just seems like they if they can't exhaust you, they become exhausted, because they who has that time, effort, and energy to put into trying to ruin somebody, unless they're getting paid for it. Unless this is their job to do, then they typically go over time. I don't know what time period it is, but over time, like I say, it can get very, very annoying.
Yeah. And then as far as the workplace, one of my friends, they told me that it's kind of like two taco stands or shops. They have they work next to each other. So the way these people think, they're like, oh, if I can take this other taco shop down, then there will be more business for me, right? Because then I'll be the last taco shop standing,
Yeah.
But hey, maybe my tacos are better, like you gotta let the people decide, maybe they want these type of tacos, maybe that kind of tacos, but that's kind of the mentality behind it. So when it comes to workplace, they think oh, if I just tear down this other situation or competitor or whatever, then it's I'm the last one standing, and then people have no choice other than to come to me and watch my stuff or buy my stuff or whatever it might be, right? But when it comes to relationships, they might tear you down with taking pictures with the new person that they're with and looking like they're so happy, and then including that new person into their family now, and now they're involved in the family, and it's just been a month or something. You're like, wow, I thought we had a full-on relationship and a family thing going, but now no, they're already a week later.
But you see, that's how narcissists and toxic people, that's literally the actions right there.
Yeah.
With the two taco stands, instead of just trying to work together and just hey, let's team up, they wanted to destroy that taco stand, and make it sound like they have the best tacos, but it's not going to be that way. But relationship wise, you see, happy people don't need to show the world that they're that happy. hey, I know I just broke up with this person a week ago, but I knew this is the love of my life. I'm going to post it all over social media. My parents love them, even though they've been knowing it for 2 hours. You know, it's a facade, because narcissists, we don't heal that way. Like you after breakup, you can take some time to yourself, and you can self-validate and self-soothe, and you can heal on your own. I can't do that. I need, because my thoughts will destroy me. So I need to find somebody else to throw myself into. So this new relationship or whatever I have going on, I'm throwing myself into that to get to forget about you, the negative self-thought, this negative self-doubt, and the shame that comes along with it. I'm throwing myself into this new situation to get over the old situation instead of working through my own issues or what might lead to the end of the relationship. So they're trying to heal by using someone else, whereas you as a non-narcissistic person, you can heal on your own, over time. I can't do that. I need somebody else to be here, just like, hey, here's my problems, I love you. Hey, this is our first date. I know, but I love you. It's just quick. That's why they try to move quickly, to get the emotions really, really high, to get over the emotions of the old relationship really, really quick. Try to get over quickly, but that's bringing old trauma to a new relationship, so they're not over that. That's why a lot of narcissists are still in contact with their exes, because they're not over them. They're just throwing themselves into something new.
So you think if somebody jumps from one relationship to another, then that's kind of a sign of a narcissist?
It's kind of a sign of them being unable to heal on their own, especially if they just met this person very, very recently. It's different if that person been around for a long time.
Yeah,
that's different. But if they just met this person 2 nights ago after the breakup, and now they're in love and living together, that's kind of that's a toxic trait. Just like, wait, we thought you were with her last week. Like, oh, I was, but I'm in love with this one now. Just like.
But don't like narcissists keep like people around, like for instance, like coworkers and other people, like maybe they have like a ex or like a coworker or like a girl, like a female friend, or like they're grooming several people at the same time, and then they kind of, whenever the relationship ends, they just like go to this next relationship right away, because they pretty much been with this person the whole time anyways, right?
So that's what I was telling you earlier, that no one person will be enough for a narcissist. They're always you always have to have a backup plan, just in case this falls apart for whatever reason. I might do it, you might do it. Whatever reason this falls apart, I need to have a backup plan. Just like, they can work job wise too. They can work employer wise. Like, if I get fired from this job, I need to be, being good with the supervisors on this, over here. I need to have a plan of action, because you don't want to get caught, for lack of a better term, you don't want to get caught with your pants down. You're just like, oh God, I'm out here exposed. I have nothing. You don't want to get caught like that. And that can be a very, very dangerous person. Like, that's why if you have a narcissist that you're dealing with and you break up with them and they don't have a backup plan, that's when they become super obsessive over you. They won't let you go at all. They're just like, nope, you're not moving on. You gonna break up with me? No, you have to give me a second chance. I don't care what I did. I'll fix it. I'll fix these things. Let me cry in front of you. Let me threaten to, take my own life. Let me do all this other stuff to keep you here. Let me try to do whatever it takes to keep you in this situation, because I don't have a backup plan. And sometimes when you take that person back, in a couple of weeks, they leave you for somebody else, because now they have a backup plan, because they know you left them before. You can do it again, so they don't trust you. So now, I don't trust you.
Wow, that's so interesting. So they basically like, oh shit, she's gonna leave me, and then they like, fix a backup plan real quick.
Yep, you left me before, you do it again. So let me go ahead and have a plan. Let me go ahead and have plan B, ready to go, just in case.
So so now that we're talking about exit plans and stuff, so let's say you're in a relationship with a narcissist, right? And stuff are getting weird, like they're acting funny, and maybe they disappeared for a couple of days, and you're just like, wow, something's really off here, but not just like the disappearing or the like funny acting stuff, and maybe they're cold, something, right?
Yeah.
They're like what do you call it? Routines. Their routines are kind of off now. So now you're like knowing something's off, something's weird. So like, what should you look out for when it comes to like a narcissist, like showing their true colors and like they're about to do something and like, you know, maybe leave, or they're trying to blame everything on you or whatever it's called. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Gaslighting,
Yeah,
you know?
when they start to devalue you after after the love bombing phase comes the devaluation phase where they for narcissistic people, toxic people, whatever, they emotionally disconnect from you. You know, they become emotionally disconnected from you. That's when the routines, like you just said, the routines change up. Things are not the same. We don't hug anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't kiss anymore. There's no intimacy at all.
Yeah.
You know, they become emotionally disconnected from you, and most narcissistic people do that for whatever reason. You know, I can't explain it. I wish I could. It literally like a light switch goes off in my head and I don't care about that person no more. I'm like, why am I with you? So if they feel that way, they're going to start acting that way. Like, why am I with you? So they become disconnected from you. And I always say this right here: if they're disconnected from you, they're trying to connect to someone else. You know, maybe not physically, but emotionally. So if things feel different, it's always to you. It's always a feeling. You see this. You notice the patterns changing. You know, make a plan. If you want to leave, you have to make a plan to leave. I always say don't willy nilly. Some people can do that, but most people need a plan of action in place. Like they have to leave while they're at work or something like that. Because if I leave while they're here, they're gonna go crazy. So you have to leave while they're at work. Get the stuff out while they're at work or something like that. So exit plans are very, very important. If I say having a support system and people who love you and care about you and are willing to help you out is very, very important, because most narcissists try to eliminate your support system while you're in a relationship. They try to alienate you from your friends and family, your groups, your support system, so you feel like you're by yourself, like you have no one else but that narcissist that you can turn to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're on Narcissist Island by yourself. Nobody else has a life raft or the coordinates to get there except for you.
Yeah.
So having a support system hurts. And always make a plan. Like I said, just be as safe as possible. Because some people crazy. Some narcissists, they're crazy, y'all. They will go crazy if you leave them. So prepare for that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the narcissists that I like known or heard about, they like get the whole obsessive thing that you're saying, and then it's like, yes, oh, I'm gonna kill myself, and then it goes to like, if they can't like do that, they're gonna try like maybe to hurt you, whether it's like emotionally or even physically, right? So it's like you're just like, whoa, like this is, you need to stay over there, restraining orders, you need to have them in place. And like, what are some of the ways to like scare like a narcissist that like went that far away?
So what are some of the ways?
Yeah, what are some of the ways? Let's say a narcissist, like they're getting agitated now because they're not getting what they want, and now they're like angry with you and they want to hurt you in some kind of ways. And now maybe even they want to get physical or something, like some way that they want to hurt you, and now you just like, oh my god, I need to get rid of this person. Like, is it to get like a restraining order, or like what are some of the ways? It's no contact, right? And then restraining order.
Separating yourself from the situation is going to be advised. And restraining orders, do they always work? It's kind of a piece of paper filed downtown. Is that going to work? And they might actually set the person off, but always do that. If that person cares about their reputation, they're going to care about you getting a restraining order on them. Because that's that becomes searchable. That becomes like public knowledge. You can put somebody's name in there and just like restraining order. So protect yourself at all costs. Because if somebody's threatening to take their own life, what do you think they will do to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think you're more important to that narcissist than they are to themselves? If they're gonna take themselves out, they're gonna take you out. So you can't save somebody in that mindset. Just like call the police, do a wellness check. Do something along those lines to preserve and protect yourself, because they're not going to do it. They're absolutely not going to do any of that. So you have to protect yourself in situations like that. And always, like, restraining orders, do they work? A lot of times, yes. But some people are just like, they're going to bust the restraining order. And some people who filed the restraining order are going to give in and start talking to the person. So it kind of eliminates it. So you have to be, and that's where, again, you kind of circle back to the support system. Like, hey, I need some help. Somebody help me, because, the mind works weird. You get trauma bonded, and you get addicted to these, you get addicted to people like that, and you want to reach out to them. It brings you physical pain not to reach out to that person. He's like, oh, it hurts in my stomach, my head hurts, my heart hurts. I haven't talked to this person in a long time. So that's why you need a support system and people around you to help you out. Like, look, stay strong, be blessed, and all the other good jazz.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And like, oh my God, it's like so much information about it. I don't even know. Like, wow, it's like so much to do. And like, let's say if they're like a narcissist is like, oh my God, you like discover that I'm a liar and I'm a cheater, whatever they might be, right? And they're like, let's go to therapy and let's get counseling. Like, are they actually trying to change, or is this just another like facade kind of thing?
So are you cheating too, or are they the only ones cheating?
What do you mean?
You said let's get therapy. It means both people are at fault there.
No, I'm saying like the guys, like, or the woman, whoever is the narcissist is like, cheater. Let's get therapy.
Cheater, yeah. So that sounds like manipulation, because like, even though I've been diagnosed as a narcissist, I've been in therapy for 4.5 years. I go to therapy by myself because like they have to want to get help by themselves. Okay. Because the counseling helps with communication. Most marriage counselors are going to tell you how to communicate better. If that person is unwilling to communicate with you in any type of way where you feel hurt, then it's kind of pointless. It's just another manipulation. Like, hey, we went to therapy. They said we were cool. We one session, we're in and out. That's just an excuse. Like, they'll start trying things to keep you there. Therapy just, the therapy is not them taking accountability. It's them trying to coax you into staying in this relationship. It's like, hey, don't leave me. I'll go to therapy with you right now. But typically, if they want to go to therapy, it's because the other person has suggested it before. Now,
okay, so it's not because they actually want to fix themselves. They're just doing it because they're like, in order to be with this person, like, I'm doing
in order to keep you there. Yep, exactly.
Wow.
In order to keep you around, it's manipulation on a whole different level. Yeah. Because when you try to leave them,
sorry. So if you're, for instance, you're a narcissist, right? But like, let's say you actually are a narcissist, and you're like, you had all these relationships and this and that, and you're like, wow, I think there might be something wrong, like, and you want to seek out help. Like, what are some of the advice for the actual narcissist? What can they do to like get help for everything that they're going through, and like, what are some of the steps, and is it like an ongoing thing, or like, can you get healed from this, or how does it work?
So I don't think you can get healed from this. I've told people before, I'll be in therapy for the rest of my life. I will at least once a month for the rest of my life. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm cool with it because it helps make me a better person. But for me, when I first heard the word narcissist, I got on Google, of course, and Google therapist, and I found my therapist, who I still have to this day, on the website Psychology Today. You can get on that website, and you can search by specialties. You can definitely search by specializes in dealing with narcissists. Cool, let me pick her. You can search by specialties and things like that. But like, if you are a narcissist and you want to actually get help, you have to commit to it and have to be honest. And there's a lot of shame that comes with therapy. It is, and most narcissists avoid shame at all costs. There's a lot of shame with sitting in the therapist chair, telling them the heinous, bad, sometimes evil things you have done to people in your life, and sitting in it and trying to find a way to get past that type of stuff, or the things that have been done to you. There's shame in things that have been happened to you that you cannot control. So there's a lot of shame in that as well, because you can defend yourself at 7, 8 years old, whereas now you might be in your 30s. You can defend yourself now. You want the person who hurt you at 7 or 8 to come to your life right now so you can hurt them. There's a lot of shame associated with it. So you have to be able and comfortable, to sit in the shame. It sucks. Sitting in the shame hurts.
Yeah. And like, for instance, when you go through these therapy sessions, is it like you're like, I thought about doing this awful thing, but now you call the therapist and then you're just like, help me, like, so I won't do this awful thing. Or like, how does that work?
So pretty much that's how it works though, because it's like I'm still the narcissism doesn't go away. So right now, what I have to do is slow my life. I have to slow myself down because most narcissists are impulsive. They just do things on impulse, really, really quickly and in the moment. Whereas I have to not do that. I have to like actively try to slow myself down as to not take those actions and do those things and say what I wanted to say. I was like, I have to be willing to sit in that shame. So it really is just a tough scenario to deal with when you're trying to go to therapy and deal with this type of behavior and things like that, because and understand that it doesn't go away. If you're a true narcissist, it doesn't go away, but it doesn't mean you have to be a terrible, evil person. It really, really doesn't. I tell if I think some bad thoughts and I don't take action on those bad thoughts, I get happy. I like, yay, I control myself. I didn't do anything bad. I can control myself, and that lets me know that I've been working on myself.
Yeah.
And I will tell my therapist what I thought about doing. And she's like, yeah, don't. I'm glad you didn't do that. Like,
yeah, but like as far as you being in a relationship, can you have a relationship now without like hurting the other person, or like if you're like, for instance, relationship with a partner or like a father or mother, like can you be a narcissist and carry on these type of relationships, or is it like now you're just like it's better off not to even have relationships?
I mean, I still have my relationships. You know what I mean? Yeah. It takes hard work to maintain relationships once you become aware of who you are. Because I said the thought process is still there. The self-serving, egotistical thoughts are still the first thoughts out of my mind. They come out first. Yeah. But I realized, almost the last 5 years of therapy, that I don't have to act on those thoughts to feel good about myself. So I can have genuine relationships right now. Whereas I've had relationships my whole life, but they don't feel genuine and authentic. Like most narcissists, they have a lot of people around them, but some of them, don't have a lot of close friends, or, the relationships are terrible, or the relationships they have a lot of situational relationships, just like short-term girlfriends and boyfriends and husbands and wives, like lots of marriages. It's a wild life. It can be.
Yeah. And what about like the narcissistic mother and father and that kind of thing? Like, how does those kind of relationships work?
Like with therapy or without therapy? Because
without therapy, like, I mean, obviously, I think especially when it's older people, like in our generation, if let's say we have mothers and fathers, they're not gonna realize that they're narcissists most likely. And older people, they usually tend to not want to get therapy either, or kind of help, because they're just like, that's like old school kind of thinking, right? So like what do you do, let's say, if you have a narcissistic parent and you're trying really hard to have that relationship with them, and you're just realizing like, no, like there's something wrong here?
I feel like once you realize who your parent actually is, once you grow up and you understand who your parent actually is, you can start to set your own life boundaries on your parents. Whereas when you're growing up, typically when you're growing up with a narcissistic parent, you don't get to have boundaries against that parent. So when you grow up, you can have your own boundaries, even though they might be uncomfortable to set. You can have your own boundaries against your parents, and if they continuously, a lot of people nowadays, this day and age, are cutting their parents off. They really are. Like, I would no contact with my mom for 6 months. Like, you cutting your mom off and your dad and your brothers is extremely tough. But it helps you heal sometimes to cut that person out your life, because it does. So if that person is toxic and only adding negativity into your life, it might behoove you to take that person out of your life, or reduce their role in your life. You might not can cut them out completely, but you can drastically reduce their role in their role in your life, and their importance in your life. Like, I need validation from this person. You don't need that validation anymore.
And what are some of the traits of like a narcissistic parent?
Constantly questioning your motives. You're not going to be good enough for a narcissistic parent. Like, most narcissists that are parents, like, see their kids as reflections of themselves. So if you are not reflecting back good qualities, they might get rid of you. They might just not parent you at all. they might discard you and just get rid of the whole family and go try to start something else. You know, narcissistic parents always typically make you feel like you're not nothing you ever do or say will be good enough to make them happy, which is how the relationships go. You know, it's kind of just like it kind of parallels how an intimate relationship would go, but it's just instead of a girlfriend or boyfriend, it's a child. And kids get it a lot worse because they can't. You can control who you date and who you marry most times, but you can't control who your parents are. So it's tough growing up in a household with a toxic ass mom or dad. It just is, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably like you deal with it as a kid, and like let's say you deal with that as a kid. Is it more likely for you to grow up and become a narcissist, or is it like now you know the traits, so you're just kind of like?
So in my, you know, I pretty much talk to people every day dealing with this. Most of the people who end up in narcissistic relationships had a narcissistic parent. Like a lot of them. They're just like, oh, my husband's a narcissist, and you know, my mom's a narcissist too. And it seems as like there's always a parental component in it. You know, it's just like, man, it's like, what about what's your relationship like with your mom and dad? Like, my dad's a narcissist. And my husband or my wife acts just like my mom or my dad, and it's just like you're drawn to that type of behavior because that's what you grew up with. You know, it's kind of crazy. I was just like, dang, and just like, yikes, you know. And that's one of my biggest fears right there, because I told my therapist, I was like, I don't want my daughter to end up with somebody like me, and she's like, your behaviors better change. I was like,
Yeah.
You know,
but see, like you're working on yourself, like, and I think right now in this day and age, it's like, I don't know, the women are like progressing in a lot of ways. They're like been grown up to, like, you know, take care of home and family and work, and you know that the work stuff is like a newer kind of situation, right? But now a lot of women are independent, they're making a lot of money, they're like bringing in 50% of the household, and they're taking care of the house chores and the work and this and that. So there's like very like imbalanced kind of situation when it comes to women and men right now. Like, so like the men are still like, okay, well, we're men, you know, we're doing this, we're the care, like, you know, what do you call it, bring home the bacon and all this other stuff, but it's like only 50% of the bacon, you know. But like, you get what I'm saying? So, but like I feel like you know, you get like once in a while you get the people that are like, okay, yeah, like, I understand my daughter. I don't want my daughter going through this. So if I don't fix myself, then my daughter might end up in the same situation, right? So I think that's a lot of the issues is like, you know, it's easy to see women as like an external thing or men as an external thing. But when you have kids, then it's like, this might happen to your own kids. So now you need to like step up, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of evil people out here on some of these podcasts that say like, hey, I'm gonna treat women the way I treat them. I'm just tell my daughter to avoid men like me, which is 1,000,000% ignorant as hell, because it doesn't work that way. So they're gonna watch what you do and how you treat people, but listen to what you say. That's conditioning your kids to pay attention to people's words and not their actions. That's a terrible parent. You know, that's an awful narcissistic, toxic parent. It's just like, I'm gonna treat people terribly, but I'm gonna tell my kids to not date people like me. Huh?
Makes no sense, right? It's the same thing. Like if a kid sees you drinking a Diet Coke every day, they're gonna want to try the Diet Coke. It's like whatever the kids see, they're gonna want to like copy whatever you're doing, right? So, or like, you know, they're gonna take on those same traits or date the same type of people. And so I'm a strong believer. It's like you got to practice what you preach and all that good stuff. Obviously it's impossible to be like perfect, you know, but you know, try your best to do everything you can to like prevent certain things and all that good stuff, right?
Yes, that's all you can do is, like I said, that's all you can do is try. And that's what I'm doing with therapy now, is just trying to do my best. Like I said, I know I won't ever be healed, which is not my goal anyway. My goal is to just be a better version of myself every single day, which I think is definitely achievable. Because that doesn't make it sound like I'm trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to be better than who I am, you know. Yeah. And that helps me out. And like I said, it also kind of sets a good example for, I don't, like I said, it's just, you can't, actions over. I'm an ardent believer in actions over words. So your actions are going to lead the way. Your words are they're just words. People,
Exactly.
it's
So
saying I'm a millionaire and being a millionaire are two different things. I'm a millionaire. Like, you broke, it's just like
can I move in? I got your name tattooed.
quick. You see how that works?
Yeah.
Extremely quick. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Be
It's
like, wait, what? Like, I love you. We should do like a video like that. It says Uldouz right here.
I love you, right? I know we've been knowing each other a week and a half, but had to get
You have a tattoo right there too.
Oh, that's my aunt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to get my aunt and my mama on there.
You moved into your aunt's place.
No, yeah.
No, I love you, right?
Yeah, you gotta love them. Exactly. That's the mindset, though. It's like, it's quick ownership. Like, I love you. Look, I would, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't have got this $35 tattoo of your name on here.
Just in like black ink, like, all like huge. Like, oh wow, thanks.
Exactly. Thank you.
Kind of cool. Like,
exactly. That's literally the mindset, though. It really is. So it's just like, I tell people to protect themselves. Like, if they get a tattoo, is not that's an attachment to you.
I think Kim Kardashian's guy, the Pete Davidson, he had like her kids tattooed on him or something like that.
Well,
so I was like, oh well, I guess he owns those kids now or something,
or trying to mess with Kanye, who's been messing with him. Who just know?
I don't even know. I mean, he has so many tattoos. It will be like a map. Like, where do you even find this stuff?
Yeah. Who found that? Who was studying his tattoos? Like, geez.
I think he said it. I don't know. I don't even know. I just saw like a little thing, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, the tattoo thing. I recognize that.
Yeah.
What about like complete strangers that are like tattooing you like as a public person on their body? Is that like the same kind of ownership thing, or is it just like, oh, I'm a fan and I just want to tattoo this?
There's more than fandom right there. I feel like that's obsession, and that's different level right there. That's
so like it's not like a cool thing, like, oh wow, I'm on like all over this guy's leg or something.
If I saw my name on somebody's leg, I'm like, watch him. Just
What about like guys that are tattooing, like, let's say like The Rock's face on them or something?
Again, that's, to me, this is I guess that's
like, wow, The Rock, look, I love you.
It's the rock on my the rock on my chest. Like, no, it's weird. It's like, weird. Oh. It's weird. It's just weird. It's weird. Yeah, they don't own The Rock though. They don't own The Rock.
It was just it's kind of strange. I agree. I used to think it was like cool, like, oh wow, like somebody tattooed, me on their like something. And I think I had an ex that like tattooed my name like on his chest, and then I was just like, oh, okay. But that was kind of like, it caught me like off guard a little bit. I'm like, oh, he actually did it, like
didn't tell you about it, just revealed it to you on the beach.
Yeah, like, oh, look what I got. Like, oh, cool. All right. Yeah. Hey, here's my trash bag. I'm like staying here.
Yeah.
But I didn't even get the trash bag. He just stayed and like never left. Like, I'm just like, I think he was homeless,
The trash bag is too obvious. You got to do it covertly and subtly now. You don't bring the trash bag now.
He didn't have the trash bag. Like, he had like just the clothes on him, and then he just like stayed and like never left. And like little by little he would go to work, and then like new clothes would like show up, and then and then before I know it, I'm like, are you staying here? Are you gonna like pay half of the rent? Oh, you want me to pay rent? Like, I was like, what is happening?
You were doing okay before I moved in, so why do you need help now? It's just like, that's the mindset. Like,
wait, you want me to pay? Like, oh. I was just hanging out, you know.
Yeah.
Like I could sleep on my brother's couch. Okay, bye. But you know,
Oh,
you gotta pay rent if you're gonna stay here. Like,
yeah. I'm just telling you, just like you were doing pretty good before I got here. So why do you need me to pay rent now?
yeah, you need to just like you said, slow down, and like all the love bombing and everything is like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, wait a
Yeah.
minute. I mean, I know it so well now that I'm just like, I just avoid everything now. Like, I think my walls and my avoidance of everything is so far up that it's like
Yeah.
nobody can even get to me to begin with. It's like, oh, can I get your number? Oh, for what? It's like, oh, but I love you. Like, but it's so bad because it's like, at what point do you even get into something? You know, it's kind
Yeah.
of like,
No, I tell you, yeah, take your time, and you'll know when. I tell people, just take your time, and heal first.
yeah,
I tell people, you have to heal first before you go into something else, because then if you don't, you carry this additional stuff into the new relationship, and
yeah.
it can mess with your mind a lot. It really, really can.
Yeah. And the healing takes so long. Like I read so many books and like now I'm like, wow, like I didn't even know I had certain things until I read all these books. And then I was just like, wow, I have like abandonment issues and like all these other factors. And then these other people that I was in a relationship have all of these issues. That's why I'm
Mhm.
like, if I get into anything, I have to make sure that both of us done the work
Yeah,
so it could like work out. But otherwise,
yeah.
it's going to be a waste of time, you know?
It definitely will. Life is finite. You're not gonna live forever. So you gotta,
Yeah,
make sure you spend the time on the right people.
for sure.
Yeah.
So where can everybody find you? And like if they want your help or anything, where can they go? Your social media, give us everything.
So you can find me pretty much on every platform right now as at mental healness. Mental HEALNESS. I'm pretty much on all social media platforms now.
Mhm.
Um, TikTok is my biggest platform, but like I said, I'm more active on Instagram and Facebook, and I tweet a little bit here and now. Here and now too. But like if you want to email me, you can do that. Mental Healness 85, the number 85 at gmail.com.
Mhm.
And that's where I'll be at.
Okay, cool. I'll like send me all the links too, and I put it in the description so they could just like easily click on it. I don't know if you have a link tree or something.
I have a beacon, or whatever you call it, a beacon
Oh,
link.
Beacon.
I'm getting the website design out. It's not gonna be ready in time though. Yeah.
Yeah, just like send me the links and I put it and then everybody could click on it. So make sure you go and follow him and get all the advice, whether you're a girl or a boy and dealing with narcissists or you are a narcissist or want to get educated on anything about narcissists, maybe narcissistic parents or sister, brother, cat, dog, like
Yeah.
whatever. The roaches, like whatever you have. They might be narcissistic, but you can get all the help and the information you need from Lee. He's the man.
Yes,
So
I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much.
all right. So thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you and stay in touch and all the good stuff. All
All right, I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much too.
right, okay, bye.
Bye bye.